evening, everybody, and welcome to Talk Football, the transfer show with Dan and Jesse. Thank you for tuning in for the people who are watching right now. Jesse, how are we?
Doing great, man. How are you?
You must be a happy man, more happy than I am. Manchester United are making moves in the transfer market.
It's slow, Dan, but at least we are. It looks like we're going to get at least one player by the end of this week, if not more. So
this is it, and we've got a lot to cover, haven't we? So Manchester United, Jong deal, close, very close, almost done. We've got a fee. More to come on that one. Bringing in Tyrell.
It's Tyrell Malacia.
Tyrell Malacia, yes, from Feyenoord. Hijacking the deal from Lyon as well. It's nice for it to be on the other end for a change. Hey, Jesse, in that one, so more to come on this young man over there. Raphinia making moves somewhere. Looks like it was Arsenal. It's not. Maybe. It's Chelsea. Maybe. It could be Barcelona. So we're going to bring that to you later on. And then we're going to be looking through Calvin Phillips to Manchester City. How's he going to fit? Hopefully, we're going to have a guest on later with Patrick, Man City fan from True City fan. He's going to be joining us, giving his opinion on what's going on down there. And then we're going to just be covering a few other bits and pieces from around the market. So we'll jump straight in, top of the shelf. Manchester United have made, we hope, a transfer for Tyrone Malacia. He's a left back for Feyenoord. Looks very good. 15 million euros plus some add-ons, making the deal around 18 million euros. Sounds like a good deal, Jesse. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring Pat in. How you doing, man?
Yes. Hey,
I'm
Patrick.
good. How you doing? Sorry, I wanted to set up everything. Everything was locked up in the box, so I had to pick it up from the box. As I told all subscribers that I'm done for this until the season. But anyway, I said I'm going to feature in a lot of things, but I'm not going to do one on my own. But thank you for having me anyway.
Hey, we appreciate you coming on, Patrick. We really do, mate. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Yeah, so we've just done a little bit of a run through there, what we're going to be covering. So, Tyrone Malacia from Feyenoord to Manchester United, deal hijacked. Just asking Jesse what he thinks going on.
Yeah, just one more thing real quick. If you guys go ahead and check down the description, you guys can see Patrick's link there if you want to go ahead and follow him as well. As I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. Malacia. So here's the deal. I don't think that we were initially looking at. We were looking at a left back and a right back. We need a right back more, but I think the situation with De Jong, essentially, and we'll go over this a little bit later. We got to a point where we knew that the total cost of the deal would be 85 million euros, and I think ultimately Ten Hag's been scouting this player for a while, and it was just too good of a deal. And since Lyon had been stalling on it with obviously Feyenoord, we decided to go ahead, swoop in, and get the target. I'm really happy about it. It most likely means Tellez is out the door.
Yeah.
He has the right sort of profile. Very young winger. Kind of reminds me of a Lamptey, if I'm honest. And, I mean, we only know so much. I don't think any of us really watch the Dutch league, but I'm more than happy with bringing him in as a backup to Shaw. And over the course of the season, I think we'll see him probably take that position because Shaw always gets injured. I mean,
yeah, 100%. I'll just take it over to Patrick from the blue side of Manchester. What do you make of this signing? What do you think of a player like this coming in? Ten Hag's been watching him for a little while. He looks interested. Do you think that this is just Ten Hag's getting all the decisions? Say, you pick him and we'll buy him?
Yeah, I think that's the case. And if they're not doing that at United, then I think that's a bit silly. But Ten Hag looks like the guy who... Like, you can tell how he walks. I was looking at the videos. Of course, United fans don't get gassed. We all look at each other's videos. This is not live. I look at Liverpool's videos. How is that new signing walking into there? I saw Ten Hag. He walks like he wants the place. Obviously, he's been told that you have the keys. If United haven't given him the full keys, then they're making a mistake. Because Klopp and Pep, I'm pretty sure, can walk into the board member's office and say, I want so-and-so to be gone. I'm tired of them. I want so-and-so to be gone. That's my decision. So I think he wants this guy. I was looking at a video, as we all do. I went on YouTube. Then after we watch YouTube, we become professionals in the player. I was watching the guy. Yeah, we all do it. I was watching the guy, but you can still tell from the YouTube comments. Some of them I've seen them and I've said, this guy is not all that great. Let's not lie to each other. It looks like he's very physical. You can even tell from where he's short. It looks like he's a short, same height as Lamptey, maybe taller, but he looks more physical and bigger. I think that's what's going to give him an advantage in the Premier League, because I've noticed in the Premier League, it's either you have to be, if you're a small guy like David Silva or Lamptey, you have to be skilled and you have to be talented. If you come in here and you don't have the muscle or the physique and you're useless, you will be exposed. So I like this guy, and I think Shaw is going to show up as always when he sees there's competition, but he'll be exposed again, because I remember when Terry's came in, Shaw was on it. Shaw, I think there was a point in time when people were saying Shaw is one of the top 3 right backs in the world, I think, and you could sit there and you couldn't argue because he was cooking. He was cooking at that time and you couldn't say anything. But I think this guy is good. And if you guys get him and you get whoever Ten Hag is asking for, I think that's a good start. And as I said, I looked at the guy. He looks like he's very physical. Something Shaw doesn't have. Shaw doesn't seem very physical. It looks like he's more concerned with going forward. This guy looks like he's more concerned with going forward. He's very technical. I saw a few dribbles in there, and I was like, I hope this guy doesn't come for Cancelo's crown of being one of the 4 backs that dribble. But look, you guys are eating good. If you close this deal, I think it'll be good. And you know what? Fair play to Ten Hag. I have seen the videos. Looks like he's a serious guy. He looks like he's not messing about. So hopefully you guys come back, or maybe you guys become worse. Yeah,
just a couple things is going on that the body language, just looking at kind of the training ground videos where they were showing. I mean, United fans always get over obsessed by this, as we all kind of do, especially when you have a new manager. But seeing his body language, the way he came in, but today, I mean, I can't lie, I was gassed. They did ball work for the first time in 3 years on the training ground. The actual passing drills, not that one where you pass around in a square and you have like 2 neutrals who are trying to defend. No, none of that. It was like actual passing drills. It was so good to see. And then just on the other side, this kid loves an overlap, and we haven't had that for a long time. And he has the athleticism to get up and down the line, which is a massive. Look, Shaw loves an overlap, but the problem is he loves to overlap, but then he can't get back. So he just stopped doing it. He just stopped doing it because he's like, well, if I do that, then I'm going to be out of position at the opposite end. So yeah, no, it's good days. I think we're paying around 17 million euros, so around 14 million pounds. That's including 2 million in add-ons, bringing it up to that 17. Yeah, no, it's a good deal. It's a good deal.
Yeah, 100%. I actually did a little bit of digging myself about, like kind of the background on where this player came from. And the interesting fact is that this isn't the first time that Ten Hag has gone to buy him. He actually wanted him when he was at Ajax. The big difference being is going from Feyenoord to Ajax is something that you just don't do. This kid grew up in the south end of Rotterdam, where Feyenoord play. There was no way that he was going to go there. Apparently, when he was interested, he just shrugged his shoulders, apparently, according to the journalists out there, and went, well, I'm not going. But now it shows that he's got his man at a different club. He's now able to kind of develop this player, that he really fancies. He thinks he's the kind of player that, has grown up, according to the sources, he's grown up playing in the cages, South Rotterdam, quite a hard, poor area where he's had to kind of fight, and he's got a lot of drive in him. And that comes out in his football, just like Patrick said, from what I've watched, he is a fighter. He's a bit of a pit bull, to be honest. He's a small guy, but he's going to fight. And I think that's exactly what Manchester United need. Someone who's going to get in those trenches and do some fighting, because last season there was no fighters. There was whingers, there was moaners, and there was criers, but there weren't no fighters. And this guy's going to bring a new attitude to it. So fantastic deal. I think this is a great, great deal. So with that, I think we'll move on and look at Jong. Oh, go on, Jesse. You want someone to bring in?
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and bring in Annie real quick.
Oh, hello.
I mean, since we're on United already.
Oh, my God, shameless. Shameless. Look at his profile picture.
Yeah.
Look at this.
What? I can't rep my manager. Can I not rep my manager?
Look how
One training session.
I didn't say anything. I'm not deluded United fan. What's up, Patrick? What are you saying?
He's just jumped out to get a little bit of a technical thing sorted, but he'll be right back. Right, anyway, Andy, what do you know about this guy? Are you a YouTube aficionado now? Are you fully on him?
No, do you know what, Dan? Remember the conversation we had about United a few months ago, where we said, "Go and get me the guy that I've not heard of, and the guy that fits your system." Look, we went and got someone that potentially fits the system, and is someone that's unheard of. So yeah, why not? Why shouldn't I be happy? Like,
yeah, it should be.
It's a deal that you didn't expect. He'll fit into the team. So that means potentially Tellez or Brandon Williams will leave.
Yeah,
So
I think they're both up for loan or sale.
Yeah.
The reports are saying Williams is up for loan and Tellez wants to leave. So look, if you lot are leaving, leave. Leave. Like,
give us cash. Yep. Cash up front.
give us cash. Give us cash. Like, it's not even, everyone will be like, oh, he's all gas because they bought someone. Guys, do you know how much some of our fans have been starving for just one signing?
They're hungry out there.
One single that, bro, they look like children in Africa with the amount of starving they have. Like, oh, come
Whoa.
on. Yeah, everyone will be like, oh, look, if I switch on my camera, they won't say anything, will they? Like, it is what it is. But yeah, like I'm slightly excited.
Listen. Right. What's this you thinking about the profile of player though? Like, this guy isn't the name. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's not this. He hasn't got the big background behind him. Does this tell you something? Is this telling you something that's different about the transfer strategy at United?
It makes me think that, like we said, could they actually have footballing men making the decisions on, does this guy fit the system? How's he gonna play in this role? He's gonna listen to the man. The guy's only like 21, 22, so he's still got time to develop and stuff to learn from Ten Hag. So we have to see how he fits into this team. But I still think Luke Shaw is going to be the first team left back, and it's going to be on Malacia's job to kick Luke Shaw on the backside. Because how much do you want to bet, Jess? We're going to see another Luke Shaw from just before the Euros again.
Yeah, I think he'll kick on. I think he'll kick on for a little while. I think he'll get his inevitable injury, and I think then he'll fall off again. But it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, this is what Shaw does before international tournaments nowadays. So maybe he'll play incredibly. Chilwell will have a slow start, and then he'll be spurred on by the World Cup, come back around January time, Boxing Day, and just flop for us. So who knows? But no, I really like this Malacia signing. And yeah, it's highly encouraging. It's clear at this point. I think football people are making the decisions at United at this current point in time. But I think that football person is solely Ten Hag. And I think that whether or not we get 4 or 5 signings this summer, if you look at the people we're linked with, every single one of them is a Ten Hag signing, which I think is probably what they meant by getting those getting the right sort of stipulations in the contract. When they're talking about that, I imagine the Glazers, because the Glazers will never say we'll spend 200 million on you guaranteed, but they might say, okay, but we'll only buy players you want. We're not going to go out and get you, ironically, a Donny van de Beek when you want Jack Grealish, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're not going to go get the club signing. They're going to get the signing that Ten Hag wants, which I think is good and is evident by the way that we kind of know exactly who's on our transfer list, and there are no ifs or buts about that. But let's go ahead and move on because we spent.
No, definitely. Yeah. So moving on, Manchester United keeping it Dutch. Jong, we'll just fly over this one now. It looks like that fee's been agreed, 85 million euros, which is what we all knew in the first place. 65 million euros up front, paid in installments. That's fine. A lot of clubs do this, no problem at all. The difference at the moment is it's not a done deal, and the reason there's no here we go is this is the 20 million euro difference. This is the additional add-on fees, and this is going to be getting worked out. We all know now that Barcelona are going to be pushing for these to be very achievable. They're not, and United are going to be pushing the other way to try and make them less achievable. As Jesse was going to probably expand a little bit more on there for us. But as I say, that's what it's going to be. The deal's going to be done. I think we're all certain of that. I can't see anything else but that happening. Do you think that the fact that you've made a move for Malacia gives you ideas that this deal is, from the United point of view, that they can move on kind of thing from this and now put their attentions to other players? What do you think about that, Jesse?
Yeah, no, I think it's a clear indication that the rumors, the tier ones came out and said, okay, now we know for a fact that it's going to be 85 million guaranteed, 65 million upfront, and that opened up 20 million in order to go ahead and do a deal. And I think it's fairly evident, just kind of moving on to the actual structure side, that Barcelona are going to want guaranteed player performance related add-ons, appearances, or whatever that may be, but something that is guaranteed just based off the player performance. Whereas United wants to have some sort of clause in there, maybe for 10 million, 5 million, just whatever it may be, along with the performance related add-ons to the team related add-ons. So getting Champions League, because Champions League means they know that they can eat the cost. That extra 30, 40 million that goes in their pocket from getting Champions League then goes straight into the De Jong add-ons in that part of the budget. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. ND, we'll just come on to yourself there, mate. Are you looking forward to the end of this De Jong saga?
Yes, because United are very good at one thing. They like to drag things out. So yeah, I just want it sorted. Everyone's laughing, but it's true. We know United are famous for PR and dragging their heels. Like finally, they're trying to do something right. Given after 9 years, they finally attempting to do something right. So yeah, I just want it done. I just want to see him lift the shirt. That's all I want. I just want to see him lift up the shirt and then give that usual playing for Manchester is a dream. The little boy inside me was screaming for Manchester. Everyone does it. Every football player watch. When Richarlison signs for Spurs, he'll do the same thing. Literally. I just want it done.
Yeah, don't forget what I said 2 months ago about Barcelona is my dream club and I never want to leave. No, it was always my dream.
That wasn't me, man.
Play for
United.
To play for you. That wasn't me. It was my brother Lenky Leong. It was my brother Lenky Leong. He's the one that said
that must have been Frankie. I'm Frankie. You know what I mean? Like
I'm Frankie. You must be talking.
Nigel, you know Nigel? It was Nigel.
Yeah,
not
Nigel. My brother Nigel.
I think it's gonna say that he's there for Ten Hag. I think it's gonna say it in a certain way that I'm here to play. I'm playing for a big club, but the idea of playing with Ten Hag again amazed me. I doubt De Jong is gonna come out. If he comes out and says and kisses the budget, I love it, and plays the piano like Sanchez did, and then lies to us, it means you guys are frauds. You guys have a fraud department where you pay somebody extra to lie, because you guys. Like that piano thing was funny. I will never forget.
That's the best... Patrick, that thing still has the most views of any footballing PR in the world.
I know, and apparently somebody killed me and said that was Sanchez's best performance at United.
Oh, bro, that and the City game, that was it. Other than that, nothing.
Oh dear.
I can still hear it.
Oh God!
You know what's embarrassing? I bet it wasn't even him playing that piano. That's what's funny.
Could you imagine?
No, it wasn't. Someone's in the background playing a little one in the background.
I'm sure he could play piano. I'm not 100%. But what's it called? Someone said to me that De Jong and Malacia share the same agent.
Yeah, they do.
I think it's him and Lindelof as well.
They all share the same. Buying a yacht, man. He's buying a yacht. He's taking money.
They all share the same agent.
Same agency. It might be the same agent, but I think it's the same agency. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe that helped accelerate a few things.
For one, I'm looking forward to the end of it, and yeah, I can't wait for it to drag on for another 2 weeks, as it will.
No, but they said they might show him on the weekend.
No,
show who?
There was a report that came out literally just before the stream started that they might show him on the weekend.
Yeah.
Dude, what is he gonna do?
I doubt it.
I do know there's weird stuff going around, like Gerardo Romero, whoever broke the De Jong story, the tier 1 Barca journalist, apparently said they've already recorded a farewell message. But at the same time, it's just like, oh, who really cares? Like at the end of the day, just get over the line. Like, no one's that concerned. Even if they were to come out with a "Here we go" or Ornstein or Whitwell, come out and say, "Hey, it's done," tomorrow morning for all of us.
Can I ask something, Jess? Though, sorry for cutting, but can I ask something? Yeah. Why is United, right? Like, for instance, you let's look at City and Liverpool, even Chelsea. These other clubs, even Arsenal, they're moving big. I mean, like, why they're moving big is deal is announced, terms agreed, it's just a matter of the player is on holiday, so he can't do his medical. Like Jesus was with his wife, they had a child recently, so that's where he was. That's why he wasn't done deal. Why is it as Jagier? Can I say Jagier? Is it Jagier or Jagger?
Say whatever you want.
Jaeger.
Oh, Jaeger bomb. Yeah, Jaeger. Yeah, as Jaeger was saying, why do you guys delay things? Like, why are the other clubs just finishing deals just like that? Like, what's with you guys? Is there something special, or do you do this purposely to just, or maybe it's just that the power is no longer there for United? Because everybody seems to be just done. Like Nunes, I heard it 6 a.m., 6 p.m. it was done.
Patrick, if we go, sorry, Jess, if we go into it, we'll be here till tomorrow. Like we haven't got hours. We've 9 years laying onto a decade. We have too many hours to talk about.
Join us for the 8-part documentary we're gonna do on here on this
show. They should do an all or nothing documentary on United. That will show you why it takes forever.
It'll just end with nothing over and over. Is it nothing at the end?
Nothing.
Let me just give the short explanation. United has had a really, really messed up structure, going through head scouts, the coach, and then Ed Woodward or whoever's the technical director or CEO at the time was. And the ultimate final sign-off has to go through Joel Glazer. So you just had so many layers trying to sign off any given player, and then it can go through all those steps, get up to Joel, and then he can veto and say, that's too expensive. I don't want that. Now we have to negotiate it back down. That's the short answer. But just to give you an idea, it's because there's too many layers to the structure. Whereas at City or Liverpool, FSG previously with Michael Edwards, and then I don't actually remember the
Julian Ward.
But there you go. Like these companies are run so much more efficiently, where they basically say, here's your budget. Now you get to sign off on the deals when you feel it's ready and it's met all the checks. We don't need to know necessarily. But yeah, that's a short answer, because we should probably move on to other teams here.
Because Joel's the one that put in the Martial Ballon d'Or clause. Like, let's not even speak about that.
Annie, let's move on, man.
Yeah, it was a good deal.
Let's go.
So, now that we've got Pat, we'll move on to his favourite subject, Manchester City. Making moves into the club. We're also making a few moves out of the club, and I think you've got some opinions on these players leaving. We'll go on to Calvin Phillips in a minute, but just let us know about some of these players who were leaving.
Pat, I was watching you in the chat.
And Annie, next time put your name as Annie, so you don't make me butcher your name. So, look. It looks like there's a sale at Man City. I've never seen such a sale in my life.
Welcome to my world.
No, but this is a big sale. You don't. Okay. This is what I'm trying to say is, you don't sell.
Be careful, Patrick.
I'm gonna keep that away. But you don't sell the EDS team that won twice in the Premier League 2. You don't sell the whole team. Do you know where we are now? We're on 9. We are 9. The team is going. Are we broke? What's happening? What's going on? Like, I get it. We want to get money, and I get it that some people are saying most of them are 18, most of them are 19, and they're not going to sit there. The EDS is too easy for them. They've won it 3 times as under 18s. They've won it twice back to back as under 23. So maybe that's the thing. But I've never seen a sale like this before, Dan, where, in all fairness, fair play, we're getting 10 millions, 15 millions for these kids that have never kicked a ball in the Prem. The ones that are being kept is Market and Palmer and Delap are the ones that we haven't heard anything. There's rumors that Delap might go to Brighton, and Southampton seem to be on us. They're not done yet. Southampton are requesting more kids. I don't understand what Southampton is building.
They want custody.
Yeah, they seem to, and the funny thing about Southampton is they are agreeing to this, but they're buying for 15, 10 million and putting these 30 million, 40 million clauses. And I'm like, if I was Southampton, I would go higher, like the Spanish teams. You know where they go higher? They don't care. Like 7. But anyway, it's a good thing on the business part, because at least now for the first time in a long time, people are seeing City openly selling. You know what I mean? Because everybody used to say, why do City ever sell? They always let somebody for free. They sell you or they let you in for free. So it's a good thing. But the thing that I'm not happy with is one thing. It seems like Chelsea have decided that, you know what, we're not going to scout anymore. We're going to stand outside the Etihad, and that's where we're going to scout. If you go on Twitter right now, Chelsea sources are saying they are now after Netanyahu, they're after Zinchenko. Like, what the hell? What? Don't you have any scouts? Don't you have any scouts? So now apparently they're negotiating Netanyahu. So Ake might be going to Chelsea. Raheem might be going to Chelsea. Zinchenko, I don't know if it's true or not, but I hear that Tuchel is looking for him as a midfield option. I'll be surprised. For me, I don't know. I'm actually happy. I'm like, most of these players, you take them, do they make your team better? I don't think so. But they bring maybe experience of winning the Premier League. I was about to say the Champions League. That was going to be
be careful.
Yeah, the Premier League. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I don't know you guys from the outside. I like to hear from the outside. For me, so far we are on 15 sales. 50 sales. That's including Pedro Porro, who was sold to Sporting. Let's not also forget a few guys who already been sold. Let's not forget Egan, who's going to Burnley. So we are selling a lot, and it looks like we're not done yet. But knowing City, I'm pretty sure there's a plan. I'm pretty sure in about a few weeks, before the window is closed, people will be like, oh my God, here they go again. They've gone to Spain and taken the best centre-back in Spain, or they've gone somewhere in France and taken the best something. So I think they will. So that's it. I just want to hear from the outside because Annie knows my opinion on certain things.
Could you imagine if you rock up to Barca and say, look, Pedri, or Gavi, you don't need to re-sign that contract. Just come to Man City. Quick transaction. They can't really do anything about it. Like, what can they do?
Who do you think they'd go for? Genuinely, just before we go into that, who do you think the City actually would need to buy?
I don't know. Okay. Let's just say Ake goes. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, he goes. One of the academy kids is he's big, he's huge, and he's built like company. He plays like company, and he plays with his heart out. He's the captain. It's Mbete. He was given a 5-year contract 4 days ago. Now I'm becoming very suspicious. He's been given a 5-year contract, and there's no sign of him going alone and being sold. He's turning 19 years old, and that's when Ake, all of a sudden, is being linked in the talks with Raheem. So I was like, did City know? Did City know that there's an offer being put here? Are City willing to let Ake go? Some City fans, like Carlton, who's in the comments, is my friend of mine. He feels like Ake is not going anywhere. Right now, as we're speaking, more people are tweeting about Ake, but you asked me about people buying. I think they want Cucurella from Brighton.
Yeah.
But the bad thing is Brighton are biting back. I hear the guy from Brighton is loaded. He's not broke. And I hear he's very difficult. And apparently he's put a 55 million price on him. Apparently the first price put on Cucurella was 35. But I'm pretty sure when they saw that, City are serious, I think that brought it to 55. In all fairness, he's got 4 years on his contract and he's the player of the season. I'm pretty sure if Brighton have money and they don't need to sell, they have all the right to say 55. I'm not going to be a hater. If they tell you 55, you're looking for that best player from last season. So that's who they're looking for. Apparently, he can also play as a left centre back. But apart from that, to be honest with you, I don't know any centre backs we're after. I don't know if we're after anybody else. But knowing City has always done, there's always somebody secret we don't know. Like nobody knew that Diaz is coming. City fans thought it was Koulibaly. Even the City website, they had Koulibaly, that welcome Koulibaly, win a shirt for Koulibaly. It got deleted. Then a few minutes later, Diaz is showing up from Portugal. So you never know who they're after. I bet there's rumors from people on City players saying there's a big signing that's going to break the internet. And
it's called Haaland, wasn't it?
No, not that one. It's the latest one.
You've got to pay off all them other fees. He wasn't just 64 million. There's a few other little backhands.
I know, but I'm saying they keep saying it's going to break the internet. But when I sit back, Messi is old, Ronaldo is old, and he's at a dusted club called United. I'm joking.
Patrick.
Okay, Andy.
You better win that UCL, or you better win that UCL. The City fans came to get him because they were like,
All I'm saying is, unless you guys know somebody who's out there who can break the internet anymore, I don't think there
Brother
is.
Patrick, I want to throw a name or two out there. Jude Bellingham or Neymar. That's who I think.
Neymar,
If
could you
City
imagine?
was literally doing this, if you were to get Neymar, how would you feel, Patty?
Well,
Makes no sense.
that's a question. Before you answer that, what position do you really think you need? Let's just say De Jong, that domino effect actually happens, and somehow Barcelona end up with Bernardo Silva. Would that be like where do you actually think you need to replace someone? Assuming you're going to get Cucurella, I think that will happen. I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago on this transfer show that the more players that leave Brighton, with Basuma, with their DOF obviously leaving, they only really have 3 sellable assets: Trossard, Dunk, and Cucurella. So I think that they know that they can hold out and they have that bargaining chip. Plus, they know
Yeah.
you were talking about all your youth players. You guys have almost recouped 100 million at this point without anyone even missing. Without Sterling, basically, I'm pretty sure. So, anyways,
No.
without even the Ferran Torres money. That look, for me, to be honest with you, if Bernardo Silva goes, they've already told them it starts from 100. I don't know where Barcelona are gonna dig up 100. Bernardo Silva is on a 4-year contract. I would be surprised if they come in
100.
Give.
Yeah,
That's what it's. What do you think? A 4-year contract on Bernardo Silva?
Yeah, he's worth that all day. Listen. I'll say this before we go on. We're going to go on to Raphinia later on the show, but I'll just point this here: if Raphinia is a 60 to 65 million pound player, Bernardo Silva is a 100 million pound player.
Okay,
all right. 100% all day. Bernardo Silva is leagues and leagues ahead of Raphinia. So if that's the going price, then we need to start talking big numbers. So yeah, I agree with Patrick. He's easily a 100 million pound player.
There's one position though, because Gabriel Jesus was played as a right winger, right? The past times we bought Ferran Torres as a right winger and we sent him to Barcelona. Right now, if you look at it, do you know that Man City don't have natural wingers and they don't have a natural left winger if Raheem leaves? Because Raheem is a natural right winger who has been played at the left, but he's right. Now it's going to be Riyad Mahrez alone. So for every City fan, they're saying... he always gets a game. He's the guy who carried us. Mahrez carried us. But I'm saying he's turning 32. Mahrez is turning 32 now. And I think there needs to be a young right winger. Most City fans are giddy about Palmer because Palmer was cooking before he got injured. But I don't know. I think that's not a position I can see. But apart from that, according to City, the rumors from ex-players are saying a big signing is coming more than Haaland to break the internet. I don't know who. Is it Salah? Because he's on 1-year contract. That would be funny.
Imagine?
That would be the funniest thing.
Could you imagine Mo Salah rocks up to the Etihad? Oh my day.
They'll kill him. They're going to kill him. They'll kill him.
I'm hearing stories, and I'm trying not to get excited, but there's a few people who are meant to be mentioning in the nose that Salah's situation has improved somewhat. But we'll wait and see. I'll let that wait. But there's a few people again a little bit giddy, and they've got a few things right in the past, so I'll give them a bit of thing. But until I hear some more, I'm holding smoke on that one. I don't know who you need, to be honest with you. I mean, City needed more depth, and I think you've done that. Like in certain positions, you've already done that by bringing in not one but 2 strikers, because you had Gabriel Jesus, great player, but he's not a great finisher. He doesn't finish as much as he should finish, and you've now brought someone who's a lethal killer in Haaland, and that's what you needed. You've then brought in Alvarez, great young talent. He's going to look like he's going to be a fantastic player, and he's going to do really well under Pep. Can't think of anything else. Fernandinho, who was 49 years of age and was finally replaced, with Calvin Phillips, which is brilliant.
Can I ask you something? What's up with fans these days? Why do we do this? Like, Milner is 60. Why are we doing this these days? Why are we adding?
Because Milner, Milner still wins the lactate test. He's out there. The man's built. He'll still be playing football when I'm in my box and dead. So that's how it's going to be.
Patrick, you need to tell
so keep going, man. Keep going.
Yeah, but anyway, with that one, I just don't see where you need players, because you've just got so much quality depth now. Before, I was like, I still think you need a right back to cover Kyle Walker, because Jesse disagrees with me, but I don't think Cancelo is very good at right back. I think he's a much better left back from what I've seen. He seems to play so much better at left back. Zinchenko leaving makes sense to me because he doesn't play enough and he's too good to kind of just be in and out of your team. But bringing Cucurella he's got loads more potential and he's probably a better player anyway. So for me, he covered everything but right back. Now that you said that Sterling's leaving, that does give me a question because I then think, is Cole Palmer going to be good enough? And you'll know more than me. I thought he looked like he was a very good talent, but he's not quite there yet, I don't think. Not for a City team that is looking to win the Champions League, looking to win the league, looking to win everything, like we are. And you know that Liverpool are going to be right there behind. Yeah. It's not a league or a team where you can just kind of go, we'll give him a chance, or we'll put him in for 10, 12, 15 games and see how it goes. It's like you can't. You just have to be your best all the time. So, yeah, Calvin Phillips, we'll get into the Calvin Phillips deal now. Calvin Phillips, 42.5 million, is that the price that's been agreed?
Yeah.
I think he's a great deal. What do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, a lot of you know what, and I want to stop this habit because I've noticed that when I came to Twitter, I was very nice and polite to everybody, and now I've just become Now I've just become a. Yeah, no, ask Annie. Isn't it Annie? I was polite and good to everybody. Now I have noticed I'm just evil. I have purposely been going to Leeds United forums and Brighton to just cause fights. I had a fight with some man who obviously would be my dad, and I felt bad. I was like, what if I'm giving this man a headache wherever he is? So Leeds United fans say that 42 million is bad. Apparently we've stolen from them. They say Raphinia being at 65 and Calvin Phillips at 42 is such a theft. For me, look, I could agree with them. I think Leeds United should have shown maybe more balls and said no. We're starting at 50. I think I could have said yes. I could have agreed. Look, Phillips was one of the best players for England before he got injured. And if you look at DMs, he was actually at the top, closer to other DMs when he wasn't injured. So, but I found out he had 2 years left. So maybe that's the reason why City came to them and said, this kid has been injured a lot. He's got 2 years left. We are starting at 42. So it's a good deal for me. It's a good deal. But the thing about it is, I would have loved Phillips to be younger than Rodri. I don't know if it's just me. They're both 26 years old, and they'll both be turning 27 together, 28 together. So I would have loved Phillips to be younger, but now the same age. How is Phillips going to cope? Because I think Phillips is such a good player that he's supposed to be a starter. Let's be honest. If he went to United, if he went to Chelsea, right now where Chelsea can't is getting injured, if he even went to Spurs and walked in, I think he would bench Højbjerg. He's supposed to be a starter somewhere. I'm surprised that we put this off. Apparently, he said no to PSG, who were going to pay him more. He said no to other clubs in the Premier League who wanted him. Apparently, he said, I want to work with Pep. You can see he's always wanted to work with Pep. Bielsa obviously told him, chill. You can tell, look. You can tell that the kid wanted to work with Pep because every interview since the championship, when he had the short afro, all he's talking about is Pep. And when Bielsa is coming in, I think Bielsa was whispering in his ear because apparently those rumors that City were already asking about him, and Bielsa said that this kid would be something. So
would that be through his translator? Because he can't talk English. Would he ask about the little geezer next to him like this on? And then he'll tell him, sorry, I couldn't resist.
Do you know he can speak? Do you know that guy can speak English, but apparently he doesn't want to speak so you don't misquote him? That's what he's saying. Yeah,
he knows English media.
Yeah. When he came to England, he stopped speaking English. He says because he doesn't want to be misquoted, so he brought his translator. It's a funny dude. But all I'm trying to say is, it's just that I keep telling a lot of City fans that both 26. I was hoping Philip is younger, but I don't know. Maybe Pep is going to play with the double. People are thinking he's going to play with two defensive midfielders in the Champions League. Maybe that's what he's looking at. But look, he's a good signing, and I wouldn't be surprised because Phillips is very physical. Looks like he's more physical and more faster than Rodri. I wouldn't be surprised if Phillips plays certain games that we usually struggle with speed, like Southampton. Like Crystal Palace, somehow we struggle with that speed. Spurs, we struggle with their speed because Rodri sometimes can be very slow. So you never know. But it's a good signing. For 42 million, it's a steal. Let's be honest. It's a steal.
It is a good price. It's a great price, Patrick. Jesse, you want to jump in there, mate?
Yeah, just go ahead and hop in. Carlton, thanks for the comment, as always, man. Very few CDMs in the Premier League can play in a BLSO 4-1-4-1 system. Man-to-man, high press, only prime Conte. I think obviously they're two very different players. I'm sure we all agree on that. But I do see him as a natural progression, kind of in that new holding role that Rodri plays. Because Rodri and Fernandinho are not really the same sort of player. Obviously Rodri has come into his own. He had a little bit of a iffy first season, but the talent was always there. You could always see the quality. Fernandinho was just all over the place. I mean, all action, right? So I think it is the only thing I can think of is, like you say, well, he's good enough to go pretty much anywhere and be a starter. But I think it must be the Pep factor, the fact that he wants to play, that there's a distinct philosophy that he fits into, like Carlton said there, and even a little bit of admission that maybe he is injury prone, a little bit injury prone.
Yeah.
That, and it doesn't hurt to play, because he'll still play 25, 30 games a season and might win a couple trophies. I mean, he will win a couple trophies along the way, right? So,
I don't think he's. Sorry, Dan. I don't think he's injury prone. I just think it was the whole Bielsa system, in the sense of how much they were running and how much he kept pushing them. Because remember, he came back from injury, and then he was already injured again. So I just think Pep will know how to use him a bit better than Bielsa.
Yeah.
He came back with a bandage, isn't it? He came back with a bandage. Like, did you see the game? He came back. Sorry, Dan. He came back, right? he had his leg was wrapped. Bielsa, man. I was like, chill, man. Let the guy be. Like, I remember the whole leg was wrapped. There's a picture of him with the whole. But he was playing, and then he got injured again, went down. So maybe Annie's right, Dan. That you can go. That maybe in this time he will be rotated. Maybe he's more comfortable. He's like, I thank God, at least in Leeds, as soon as he comes back, he's been thrown back. But the same as Haaland, same thing. Anyway, go ahead.
Hey, from a man who sits on a bucket all the time and rests himself, you'd think he'd probably rest the players as well, but no, clearly not. But there we are, and now Jesse Marsch is taken over. So yeah, I think the price is an amazing deal. I think 42.5 million for the current market we are, with an English player who we all know gets English tax, and the hype is always there for them. He had a cracking Euros. I think you've benefited from him having a season where he's had injuries. I don't necessarily think he's injury prone, because being prone would be to look at previous seasons and go, oh, has he had injury? Has he had injury? Has he had injury? Over and over. And that hasn't quite materialized, thankfully, at the moment. So he's made you stronger, and this is bad. This is very, very bad, is correct. I think you're as strong. You're actually stronger than you were. And I'm worried as a Liverpool fan. I'll tell you, I am worried.
Why are you worried so much? Is it because maybe last season having Fernandinho was a weakness because he was like 90, as you say? Yeah,
because from what I was saying before, Patrick, you weren't the team that you were maybe 3-4 years ago, where you used to have 2 11s. It was literally like, whoa, like your B team would probably get top 4. And like that was in people's minds. They were like, City still got this big team. And then when you played Real Madrid, we looked at your bench and I was like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Like, it was nobody, that we needed to look into. So you're kind of rebuilding that now. You've replaced Aguero, not once but twice. You've got 2 players there. You brought in a proper central defensive midfielder to bring Rodri, to allow him to do what he wants to do in his game, and then to have Phillips as a replacement, as a substitute, or to have him in the right games, because I'm sure Pep will look at certain games and go, I want Rodri starting, but I want Phillips finishing, maybe. That's just me looking, because they're not the same. They are different, but they play in the same sort on the pitch. So
is Gundogan still leaving?
Nah, he's not. He's staying.
Right, that's my guy right there.
And I noticed that you were lacking some of those players who were so important to you in previous seasons. Like Gundogan had a poor season last season, compared to where he was. He didn't quite score the goals, wasn't quite involved.
He wasn't even playing. Like that's the thing about people. Like I was telling people that Gundogan never had it. Didn't he have a bad season? Pep just froze him. Like,
Yeah.
This is the thing, Dan. This is the thing about Pep and Klopp. Both of them sometimes they will freeze a player, and you sit there, it's like, seriously? Like the way he froze Firmino. I know Firmino is getting older, but come on, he just froze him. And even the same as Gundogan, you're like, see, like Gundogan carried us. I remember he carried
Last
that team.
season, not this season before,
The other
when
season,
United
like,
was trying. He was on smoke.
I know,
Yeah.
and that's what hurts me the most, because he carried us like that, and then De Bruyne just comes from an injury and he's half fit. De Bruyne is thrown in, and Gundogan is fully fit, is on the bench. I was like, this is a bit unfair. I can just imagine if I'm Gundogan, I'll say, I carried you guys. When this guy was injured, it was me. He didn't play at all. He was being subbed. He was either playing 5 minutes, a few minutes, and the only time he was being brought in is during certain moments. And as always, when he's brought in certain moments as the Aston Villa, he was actually affecting the game. Then sometimes he was having a bad game because he has no rhythm and the team is also bad. So you're right. He didn't have a special season anymore, but he finished it better than everybody. He seriously just finished one game and made a name for himself. So
yeah,
like Annie said, him leaving, I think, was going to be a mistake. It's a good thing that giving him an extension. But I don't know, Dan, I wanted to ask you one thing. Looking at City buying another DM, I've always thought that when we had Gundogan as our backup when Fernandinho was injured, was a risk, because Gundogan would do the job once in a while, but sometimes he gets out muscled. Looking at Henderson, sometimes I've seen people throwing stones at Henderson, saying, get him off the pitch. Don't you think you guys had to buy a young DM or do one of those amazing cheap things you do where you go buy somebody amazing? Because look, for me, is once Fabinho leaves your pitch, there's sort of no muscle anymore. It's no muscle. Even Henderson, when he comes in, he does well, but he always comes in halfway. I've never seen Henderson start the game. That's when you guys get pissed off and say, get him off the pitch. But why are you guys not looking into buying somebody that if Fabinho gets injured?
I'll say this, Patrick, because I mean there may be some Liverpool fans out there who don't want to admit it for whatever reason, and I don't think there's many, but I'll say it. We wanted Tchouaméni. We were going to buy Tchouaméni.
Yeah.
It was no secret. What happened was Mbappe. Mbappe was the problem because he didn't go to Real Madrid. Real Madrid were absolutely not going to lose that deal for Tchouaméni. They'd have paid any money. If Liverpool had offered 100 million euros, they'd have offered 105. If we'd offered 120, they'd have offered 125. They would have bought Tchouaméni without fail. We wanted to bring this young man in. He's 22, fantastic player. We didn't get him. And rather than panic and cry and go out and get Ibrahima Sangare from PSV Eindhoven, or go out there and buy somebody else in that position who isn't the one that they wanted, Liverpool just went, okay. And we moved on and spent exactly the same amount of money that Tchouaméni cost on Darwin Núñez, because he must have been the next player in the queue to bring in. I mean, we brought in two players this season in attacking roles. We brought Luis Diaz in January, and we brought Darwin Núñez this summer. But
and that Fabio kid, remember what's his name?
Fabio Carvalho.
Yeah, Fabio.
Yeah, fantastic young player. We brought him in. We brought Calvin Ramsey in. All these players are under the age of 23 as it stands right now. Actually, no, they are 23 because he just turned.
Mm-hmm.
They're buying for the future. I just think, unfortunately, the player that they wanted got away from them. So what's going to happen next is Liverpool are going to go out there and look to say, who's our next target? And I'll say who I think it is. I think it's Bellingham. I think it's Bellingham, and I think it makes sense for it to be Jude Bellingham, to be honest. It makes sense for him as a player to work under a manager. I know that clearly from Dortmund days, they would probably talk about him being the right person to go to. If the situation's going to be, it's going to be who's involved in that kind of transfer situation. I know it will, because if it's just us, then we'll probably get him no problem. But if one of the superpowers who's willing to pay enormous amounts of wages, will probably struggle. So that's my concern. What Liverpool always do, though, and then we'll wrap up on this one, but with Liverpool, I think they always go after the player they want rather than the player that they need. Does that make sense? Like they go, oh, we need this position, but they go, we don't we don't buy for the play with the position we need. We buy the player we want for the position. So it's always the right player every time, rather than being like, "Oh, we didn't get him. Let's panic and buy somebody else," and they're not quite right. That's how I see it. So with that, we'll just do a wrap up. We just want to kind of just move things along now. So we're going to be talking about probably the most interesting transfer so far, Raphinia. He was going to Arsenal.
Wait,
He's not
Dad,
going to Arsenal.
Dad, can I? When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. Arsenal fans, what are you telling me now about Raphinia?
Did you see his card? Have you seen his FIFA card? Somebody made a FIFA card. They're like strength, this and this. This and this, another strength. It says no loyalty. He's agreed terms. Because he's agreed terms with everybody. He's
100% snake.
All the Arsenal comps have been taken down. All the welcome here. Oh
dude, all I can say on this one is I'm so happy Barca put this off for 24 hours just so we could get the Arsenal meltdown. Yes, that's the one, Pat. God.
Stop. Does it have the caption, "This photo was taken in the future in the semi-finals of the Europa League"? Do we remember that one for Flapovic Arsenal fans? Do we remember? Carry on.
The gold. That All or Nothing documentary is going to be amazing.
Anyways, wow. going from basically, I mean, Arsenal were trying to agree terms. They really wanted him. That all stemmed from the fact that Barcelona didn't look like they were going to be able to sign him, which in essence was at the end of the day, like if Frankie de Jong somehow slipped through our fingers tomorrow, of course it'd be devastating. But it comes from the same sort of place where if a player like that is available and you think you can get him, then you go for him, especially when you're shopping in the tier 3, tier 2 of the market. You go and try to get someone who Raphinia is not tier 1. I would say Frankie is, but you try to get as high up that ladder as you can possibly go when you're in our position or in Arsenal's position or United's position. I can't hate the fact that they went after him, but the way it came crashing down with the report in the morning from, I can't remember who is from, and then just the way 2 hours later, just the way the enthusiasm of that whole fan base just drained. Chelsea getting him, all the Chelsea fans happy, and then 24 hours later, now it looks like Barca's going to come in. And Gerard Romero, the guy who I think that's his name, who announced the Frankie news and has been on it, tier 1 Barcelona journalist, said he has a bomb to drop.
Yeah, that scared me. I was like, Frankie's not coming, is he?
I think
could be.
This is what Dan and I were talking about, but yeah, it's he was apparently with his with Deco today. So I think we're gonna see something from Barca that's gonna break Twitter, certainly. So anyways.
Especially in the Barca space. Listen, Raphinia, right, okay, so we'll do a bit of a rundown. Raphinia for 4 months has been reported to have had a contract agreed with Barcelona. This man only wants Barcelona. Like he does. His heart is set on it. That's the place he wants to be, and he'll do Adama Traore-esque stuff. I think, in my opinion, I think he'll take a pay cut in his wages. I think he'll do everything he can to get to be in Barcelona. The problem is Leeds' valuation at £65 million, which is an enormous amount of money. They were very clear, using Fabrizio Romano, I believe, as a mouthpiece to express this message. They've got Italian owners, and it doesn't make absolute sense to have Fabrizio tell the story to the world and to the public. Raphinia is for sale, but the price is £65 million. Now, that means for Barca, that makes that deal really difficult. I think that's an excessive amount of money. And what happened is Arsenal saw an opportunity, like Jesse says, to maybe we can try 45, maybe we can try 50, dance around the situation. And out of nowhere, Chelsea's just come in and slapped the cash on the table and said £60 million. Here we go. Now, the question with that is, could you see him making a bit of a problem, if Barca then come back into the mix and being like, well, I don't want to go to Chelsea, I actually want to go. What do you think of that, Andy? What do you reckon? Do you think that could happen?
If Barca have a way to get that money, Raphinia goes. I think Raphinia goes because most South Americans, their dream is to play for Barca or Real Madrid
Yeah.
or in Spain. So for him to go to Barcelona is his dream. Like he's watched all the greats, like the Eusebios, all the Messis, the Ronaldos play in the Liga. Like that's his people.
Neymar.
So he would want to go like. I don't know about Neymar, but we're not there with Neymar yet. But still, like you said before, it's just that money. It's that money. Because if it's true that Frankie is getting sold to United, then they freed up some of that money to then go and get the money for Raphinia. But at the same time, Dembele, I think it's from tomorrow, Dembele will be a free agent.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So they need to
Contract's been on
figure
the
out.
table for months. The month it's been there. This is what they'll offer you, and he's been trying to negotiate to put that offer up. And it's deadline day tomorrow. Really, take the deal or off he goes. To another club. So we'll have to wait and see. Patrick Raphinia, £65 million is the deal. What do you reckon to his price tag? I think it's excessive.
Okay, look. As soon as Maguire went for 8 million, that was the
85.
end. 85. That was the end.
85.
Yeah, that was the end. I think that was when things just say, you know what? Teams look at it. I think somebody even said it. One of the sports guys, he says every time when you're negotiating, people look at what. Yeah. He says people look at the Maguire price and always say, well, Maguire was 85, then you're giving us this amount. That's what he joked. Some journalist just joked about that. But Raphinia for 55, I think I think that's the price. You know why that's the price, Dan? Because he's starting for Brazil. And the Brazilians were expensive. Let's not forget, they were expensive. Now, when you're exposed like that in the Prem, he's starting for Brazil. His first choice for Brazil right now. Everton is not getting back in that team. Everton is going back to Brazil. I feel sorry for the lad. He had so much potential. So 65 is grand. Richarlison is also going for the same amount, believe it or not. Same amount.
Oh.
The world is going crazy. So the only funny thing about Raphinia is, first of all, Raphinia, if you ever watch this video, can you learn the word loyalty? Be loyal. Don't agree terms with everybody. This is not fair. You can't agree terms with Arsenal and they make jersey pictures of you. They tag you and do you know what's worse, Jesse? He went and liked some of the posts.
Yes, I saw that as well. He liked someone's Arsenal post.
Don't do that.
He liked the picture.
He liked it and they were like, yes, finally. But apparently for Chelsea, he hasn't agreed the terms. So he's not that bad. So for Chelsea, apparently he hasn't agreed because Fabrizio says the issue with Chelsea is they have put the money. Leeds is like, oh my God, we never expected somebody to bring 65. We were looking for 55, 50, but 65, wow. But apparently now, right now, Raphinia hasn't agreed or answered the phone for terms. Apparently it's today, Thursday, where Chelsea are saying we're going to speak to Deco. And he has to tell us face to face if Raphinia doesn't want to come to us or not. Apparently, Raphinia, he either wants to go to Barcelona, or if he doesn't go to Barcelona, I don't understand the interest in Arsenal. Is it because there's Brazilians at Arsenal? I don't get it. But 65, you're right. Look, on a normal market, 65 is too much for Raphinia. If we are talking about, I know you're gonna hate me if I say this. If you're talking about Haaland for 51 million.
Oh, come on, don't go there.
Please don't say that.
Shame.
Patty, have shame.
One thing,
Patty, we're calling you out there.
One thing I think we can all agree with is that everyone from the favelas to Manchester agree that we need like Arsenal is you need to fuck with them online. Like
wow.
the way that he did that, the way he pulled that quick on them.
Oh no, wait, can I interject quickly? Jess, no, all of you know what the Holy Trinity is at Old Trafford, yeah? Did you see what Arsenal fans were doing? They were saying, look at our Holy Trinity, Raphinia, Jesus. I was like, my guy, you gave Nketiah the number 14 shirt. Don't talk to me about any Holy Trinity. Chill.
Listen, I saw a tweet where someone said we might as well call ourselves Celsius from now on, and I just I'm dying with it now. It's too much. It's too.
They said they're gonna win the league.
hold the smoke, please. Like, just until it happens, don't say anything. Just
These
don't do
man
it.
said, these man said, I have 4K proof they're going to win the league. I said,
Oh,
ahead of
God.
who? Ahead of who? Who are you winning the league ahead of?
Oh, my days. Listen, it's funny. Like, don't be wrong. I mean, we're just sitting there. Cal Blundell's just come in there and put Richarlison starts for Brazil and is worth more than £65 million. If a player who only averages scoring 8 goals in a season is worth £65 million as a striker, then do you know what? Haaland is the steal of the century, even with all the other payments going on in the background. Richarlison is not a good player. He is
So
not.
how much is Salah then? How much is Salah now? Even though with the year left,
Salah
how
with a
much is
full
Salah then?
contract. I mean, Salah's now probably 60 to 75 million with 1 year on the
I think right now, after we've seen Raphinia for 65 and Richarlison for 65, Salah with 1 year contract still goes with the same amount as Hazard. Remember, Hazard with 1 year went for 124.
Yeah,
so I think
yeah.
Salah still goes for a big amount because, first of all, and here's another thing, just Dan and Annie. I want to Arsenal fans. I am friends with you. I've never hated Arsenal. My mom is an
Why
Arsenal
are
fan.
you friends with them? What is
No,
this?
because
What
my
is
mom,
this?
my mom supports Arsenal. She supported Arsenal since back in the day. She tried, but I hated football. I didn't like football. But with this, all I want to say, Arsenal fans, do you seriously think? Have you noticed how we are fighting? The Raheem negotiations are taking time. Ask yourself, why did the Jesus negotiations not take time? Why is City willing to say here is?
Fatty, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, Fatty?
No. I'm not going to say anything bad about Jesus. He's a good player. He's a good guy. But I'm just saying, Arsenal fans, I want you to sit in bed today and sit back and just say what Patrick said. Why have City easily just signed fast and given you Jesus faster like that? If he was that baller that people are talking about, City would have said leave. That's another thing also for Chelsea. Why is City giving you Raheem? Go watch the UCL. I'll get back to me then.
Hey, listen,
Vicky Bergstein doing underhanded tactics.
Hey, listen, I've said it before, but I was hoping to see Jesus, Pulisic, and Sterling all playing for Chelsea, having an XG of 11 and only scoring 1 goal. That was always the possibility to have happened with them boys, but Chelsea haven't given me that, so there we are. Anyway, that's my dig at Chelsea for the evening. But yeah, Arsenal, it's a funny one. They've done some really, really good business. I just think they got a bit carried away. I think they got carried away with like the good times are rolling again at Arsenal. We're making all these deals. Everything we touch turns to gold. And it turned into a bit of a Bitcoin situation that it plummeted a little bit. So we're going to have to see. I mean, that deal's still on technically. I mean, it's probably really all down to Barca because if they get enough cash on the table to make an agreement, Raphinia, I think, is going to be the one who's going to push this deal to where he needs to be. Jesse, what do you think of this Raphinia situation, mate? What are you thinking of going on with it?
There's a clear hierarchy. Obviously, it's Barcelona. He's always wanted to go to Barcelona. They did offer him a contract, 4-6 months ago, whatever it was. He wants to go there. Chelsea were inquiring in January, but obviously they got sanctions a little bit after that, and they were never able to put any package together, really. Arsenal was always the third choice, along with Tottenham. I know there have been reports out there that said Tottenham and Arsenal were kind of, neck and neck, and that Tottenham never really came in. Arsenal thought that they could get him because of the Barca situation. Ultimately, Arsenal need to pull the plug on this now, and they need to walk away. They should not be lingering around on this deal. They have 2 clubs in front of them who are more than likely, we don't know about Barca yet, are willing to stump up the cash for him. So It'd be very foolish to keep pushing on that deal when they need to move on to more pressing deals, like the Martinez deal, which we'll get to here in a little bit. But just pull out now. Chelsea keep going, but I think Barca, if they have the money from De Jong and the CBC agreements, they'll land him. So.
No, I agree. I agree with that, definitely. And I think that leads us into a good position, actually, to talk about Martinez from Ajax. Now, this is actually a player who is currently being targeted by Arsenal, and they're still in for this guy. But he's now actually, there's been a lot of interest coming in again from Ten Hag. I mean, would that surprise you? A player who plays in the Dutch league, being linked with United. £40 million is around about the fee that's being discussed. €40 million, £40 million. He's an Argentinian centre back, not the tallest of guys, so he is a bit of an adaptable position. I don't think he's quite a centre back. Jesse,
he can play DM.
Yeah, probably can play a DM role. So Jesse, just kind of because you brought in Martinez, what is your opinion as a United fan on this potential deal? You know, if he comes to your club.
Yeah, I just wanted to start this off because I think you actually phrased it either mistakenly or on purpose. The perfect way to put this forward is right now the focus might be switching for United from Alasi and De Jong to Martinez, but I think the way you phrased it is perfect. Ten Hag's focus is transferring.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that United's focus is transferring. All the words are all the news, the word on the other ground that's coming out is that United is monitoring, and I know we're monitoring FC, but really it's like
interested.
If Arsenal get a bid accepted, let us know because we have that
talks FC.
Ajax. So essentially, like if get a bid that they're willing to accept, they'll give Ten Hag and United a call and say, "Hey, look, this is the situation." I'm not convinced United is actually that interested. I think Ten Hag's very interested because he didn't get Timber, but I don't think that it's a United thing. I think it is very strictly a Ten Hag thing.
No, I agree with that one. What are you thinking, ND? You know, just telling with that Man United feel to it. Martinez, do you think you need a player of this kind of situation? I know we can play DM. We know we can play centre-back. He's more of a DM because he'll be the shortest centre-back in the Premier League if he plays there. That was something I found out. He is actually quite a short fella. And I'm all about my short kings.
We're both short, by the way.
See, now, I said this before in the other stream. If Maguire wasn't here, this would be so much easier. But unfortunately, we have to stay with that hot point oven for a few more years, like, because he's not gonna leave. So this transfer is more about how are we gonna steal another target from Arsenal. This is more. It's what it feels like. On Twitter and everything, everyone's like, "Oh, Arsenal gonna lose 2 targets in the space of 48 hours." So I feel like if United put the money forward, I think Martinez will come because it's already a manager that he knows.
Yeah,
and it's just playing in England.
I think he would. Yeah, you both offer the same level of football, but you're Man United, you know, and you've got Eric Ten Hag. So at the end of the day, as long as he's got a very good relationship with Ten Hag, that deal's going to you, isn't it? Really. There's no way that goes either way. With that one, Patrick, what are you thinking? What do you know about Martinez? Do you think he's the right kind of player? I mean, he's not the biggest of guys. He just doesn't. I don't know where he would fit for me. I don't know what position he would play in at both clubs.
Wasn't United also looking at Timbers or somebody who's also short apparently?
Yeah.
So maybe they're looking for that height because he seem to be anyway. Look, for me, I don't know the guy. I saw videos again on YouTube, as always. Obviously, right now after the YouTube videos I've seen, I just saw a defender. I just saw Otamendi. This is a shorter version of Otamendi. But anyway, all I can say is, I don't know. For me, I don't know much of the player, and I've even the videos I've seen, I don't really know that. Well, what's the hype? Because I know there's certain defenders when they get hyped. There's a hype behind it. Like Van Dijk, I remember when he was being hyped from Southampton, you could tell that this guy is going to be serious. It's just Southampton is letting him down. When certain people, like let's say you talk about Kimpembe, you can tell that Kimpembe is different. But this guy, I don't know what it is. But Ten Hag seems to want these players. And I think it's right. Somebody was making fun of him saying, oh, he's going for the easy way. My guy, he knows what he's doing because he knows that I need to just get people who are prepared because he knows the Man United fan base. Believe it or not, as much as Ten Hag has been given time, I think deep down he knows that, look, these guys want to see pretty football, and I'm going to have to get players that are already into pretty football. So I think that's what he's looking for. For Arsenal, I don't understand why they're after him. Maybe it's just me. I thought they've got Ben White and they've got Gabriel and they've got who else do they have?
Pablo
Thomas
Mari
Partey plays in the midfield, doesn't he? If you're thinking that CDM role.
Yeah. So but is the guy a CDM or a defender?
He's a
Well,
defender.
from
No, he's a defender. It's nonsense. He's not going to play CDM for.
Yeah, because I saw him like
I
when I saw him hoofing few balls from the back. So where is he playing as a CDM? That's the video I saw. I just saw
I
him hoofing most of the balls. I never saw him taking the ball from the back in the videos. I just saw him tackles hoof. That's why I said he's like Otamendi. He looked like an Otamendi version for me. But the thing is, look, if the guys want him and they're fighting for him, and look, anybody Ten Hag is looking for, I think is a footballer. So you can tell he's a baller. But Arsenal, why are they looking for another centre back, Gabriel and Ben White? If this guy comes in, where is he going to sit? I think with this guy looks at the two defense, he can look at the United defense and say, I think Maguire can take his position. Anybody can take Maguire's position. So maybe,
yes.
so why would you go to Arsenal? That's just me.
Yeah, and I just want to add in. So like the reason why Ten Hag specifically wants Timber and Martinez is a lot of the way that Ten Hag plays. I'm not going to like put on a stat show like what do I know, but the fullbacks do push up, and from everything I can tell, he's wanted to bring these players in because he knows that these two center backs are capable of covering for the fullbacks when the fullbacks push forward. So I think he's just going with what he knows. Also, I think Martinez, however you want to say, he is really good with both his feet and he is press resistant. That's just another facet. But from everything I can tell, imagine Maguire. Let's just say you have Malacia pushing up, and then you have your cover is Harry Maguire. Like that just doesn't work in any world. That doesn't work. Like he
Harry
doesn't
Maguire.
cover that.
Harry Maguire.
And yeah, you can't cover the space. And I think if I'm really honest,
Good accent.
we have two fullbacks, or we have two center backs who can actually play in the Ten Hag system right now, and that's Bailly and Varane. And Bailly's out the door, pretty much a given. Varane's the only other one with recovery pace. So I think it's just from a Ten Hag point of view, he knows he needs someone who can cover on either side. And obviously, we're not getting Timber, so he might just be cutting his losses and saying maybe we go after Timber next summer. But
I think Ten Hag's trying to build his spine. I think he's trying to build his spine of a team, and I think as much as people say it, he's heard the rumors about some of these United players. I don't think he fully trusts half of these United players, as
He
he
had
says
one
he
training
does.
session and said he needed a left back.
yeah,
There we go. Like, what can I say? What can I say? Like, just in general, like, look how many of these players have put the managers previously under the bus. Like, can you really trust all of them? No. 6 of them are
No,
already gone.
you're right. I mean, he's getting the right. At the end of the day, Ten Hag is taking a big risk. At the end of the day, let's look at it this way: Eric Ten Hag is not the finished article as a manager. You know, he is a very good manager, but he's still a young, not person, but a young manager in his career.
I was about to say, I'm tired of hearing that.
He's older than Pep.
He can do it. He is a younger manager in respect of his experience. He's been he's taking a big step up here, no matter which way that you cut it, which way you look at it. Going from Ajax to go to Manchester United is an enormous step up, no matter where Manchester United are currently in the situation where they are in the league. This is a big expectation on him. And this is one of those kind of make it or break it situations. It wouldn't finish his career, but it will set him back if he goes to Manchester United and it doesn't work out for him, or it becomes an embarrassing situation, because that's what you'll be remembered for. He's got the right level of, what word am I looking for? The right level of confidence, maybe swagger, to say, do you know what? I think I can fix United. I think there's a lot of managers who've got a lot more experience than Ten Hag who went, nah, not for me. I'll give that a miss, because there's too much to do there, and I'm happy to go somewhere where the going's good and the things are going to be easier. So he's going to have to bring in the guys he trusts, because the only way that he's going to be successful is everyone needs to get on board. So Martinez is a brilliant idea, and anybody who can play his style of football, we may banter a little bit and say, oh, look, Ten Hag shopping in Holland again. You know, he's going out there looking for ex-Ajax players. But the reason is because he knows what he's going to get from them, and they will do what he says. And that's his only way that this works. He's got at least 4 teams who are all probably more likely to get top 4 next season.
Yeah.
And he has to somehow overcome Tottenham, who are doing good business with a great world-class manager, and he has to overcome Thomas Tuchel and a Chelsea team who've got money to spend and a lot of good players, currently available, a few more in there. He's got to break in, and he's probably got one season where he can kind of get away with not getting top four. And then
West Ham also. West Ham. They're doing business right now. Fabrizio is putting there.
West Ham are in there doing business. Arsenal are doing business. I'm not going to say Arsenal are ahead of them, but they're in and about the same situation. So there's 7 teams looking for that fourth spot, shall we say, Champions League, and only there's going to be 2 of them are going to be upset, and that's how you've got to look at it. So for me, I think it's great. I think bringing the right players in. I question whether or not if he's a centre back, whether he would be quite right. We've never had a player who's that tall. I know it sounds daft to say, "Oh well, you're focusing too much on that," but there's only been 2 short defenders in my life that I can think have been incredible, and that is Carlos Puyol and Fabio Cannavaro.
Maldini,
but I think he was still a little bit kind of more so. But it's kind of a precedent. Why haven't we seen one before? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the way I see it. Like, we would have seen someone first, and that's my only reservation. Jesse, you want to jump in?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been saying this. Obviously, I would love for just like banter to get Martinez over Arsenal, but the fact is, I think he's lightweight. I really think he's lightweight. I don't think he's necessarily ready for the Premier League. Then you can go and say, well, Timber is about the same height. Timber is a much, much more athletic player than Martinez is. I appreciate how good Martinez is with both feet. I appreciate that he can cover the fullbacks, but it's not comparable. There has to be a reason why Ten Hag said, no, Timber's the one. Timber's the one I want this season. And that's pretty clear. And just like Pat was saying a couple minutes ago, West Ham, it looks like they're progressing in talks to sign Danjuma for 45 million.
Danjuma, oh my, not this guy again. Please.
Teams are serious. Teams are not messing about. That's why I'm saying that. That's what I was telling. I was saying at the beginning that as United Club, even though I banter you guys, or we banter you guys, they should be looking around that people are not messing. Even Leeds United signed someone from Bayern who had potential that brought him in. Teams, I think the Premier League teams are looking and saying, I don't want to be the one who gets slapped 5-0 next season. I think that most of them are looking that way. Even the small teams, even though Fabrizio is not announcing, some of these small teams like Brighton and some of these other teams, they're picking up players, ballers from Germany quietly. I saw one baller, just forgot his name, he's been picked up. Yeah, like they're picking up ballers.
Sven Botman. They picked up Botman. How?
So also just going
Nick Pope.
Yeah, Nick Pope. Yeah, exactly. And obviously that helped that he got relegated with them, but still quality, right? Also, I don't know what the kid's name is, but the guy that Brighton got in for as a replacement for Basuma is supposed to be quality. I don't know who it is, but I just saw people talking about him. So everyone's doing smart business and moving quickly. Like you said, Leeds breaking their transfer record but breaking their transfer record for Aronson, who I rate, and I think a lot of people will appreciate next season. I don't really think anyone's seen him play for Salzburg or the U.S. national team, but everyone's making smart moves. I mean, even I know it doesn't really make a big difference, or it might. Nottingham Forest, it's just a loan, but getting in Henderson for a year, like it helps. Every little bit helps, and everyone can do it. Like,
well, this is it. I mean, the money's there and it's available, isn't it? There's new deals have been signed. These clubs have got a few more quid in the back pocket, and they're spending it in the Premier League. But there might also be a little side of it, and I don't quite know as to how much it did, but there might be something to do with that COVID season, where the teams didn't quite spend as much money. We'll just kind of wait and see. Maybe Liverpool did this. They didn't buy anybody. They waited, got Konate in, and the Carlton Janie knows his stuff. Brendan Aronson, from what I've seen, cracking player. They trust this guy. There's a lot of clubs out there who are backing their managers. They've got Jesse Marsh in, and he's said, I want this guy. It's no coincidence that the American manager wants the American player. He will know him and say, this is the guy I want on the team. Make him our third most expensive signing, in our history. And away they've gone and done it. Look at Steven Gerrard at Aston Villa, Diego Carlos, and
Kamara.
Kamara, Boubacar Kamara's come in there. they're all making big moves, aren't they? They're making some big moves going on. And
quiet but big.
Yeah, next season's going to be. I think it's going to be tasty. I think it's going to be exciting. Yeah, it needs to be back.
All these teams, like, have we ever, like, guys, level with me. Have we seen like all 20 teams try to put out consistent 11s? Like, they're trying to buy good players for their teams. Like, they're trying to, as Patrick said, no one's trying to get slapped 5-0 United. No one's trying to get slapped 5-0 on the bounce. They're trying to actually be competitive. This is what I've asked for. Everyone start being competitive. Stop bending over for teams like City and Liverpool and United when they seem to figure out they can play football, or Arsenal when they go on these stupid 3 games and lose another 3, or Chelsea when they put 7 past Norwich or 9 against Southampton. Like, be competitive. That's all we're asking for. Dan, we said this before. People need to stop bending over for certain teams. Show up for every game.
Stop playing like it's the Champions League final against Liverpool and then parting your cheeks for City. That's what you need to start doing.
Everybody,
be consistent.
Done. Jess and Annie can agree with me. Everybody has a team that they just bend over for. Watford used to do that for us. Watford somehow just allowed us to
remember the FA Cup, Patrick.
Yeah, but Jesse and Annie can agree with me. There's a team that I hate, and I despise this team, because this team will go to United and they'll get a draw, or they'll win 1-0. They'll go to City, win 1-0, or get a draw. Southampton. Then they'll go to Liverpool and just open. They'll open up. They just Southampton. Yes, Southampton just go to Liverpool, and you know what? And you see back, is like, is this the same Southampton that was parking the bus? They go to Liverpool and try to play football. Does that make sense? They go to Liverpool and try to play toe-to-toe.
I don't get it. Get it.
There's horses for courses, isn't there? We beat Crystal Palace quite regularly. Ever since since Roy Hodgson was in charge, we've been 11 games now that we've won. But at one point, Crystal Palace was a team that was like our bogey team. Like, we used to not be able to play them, but hopefully, Burnley. Thank God, no more Brexit football going on there.
No, but there's
City do. Hey, listen, City do open for Palace. They've got your number. That's all I'm saying. They have your number.
We do.
Eze, Zaha, and them man, they're just opening you up. Like,
it's going. But listen, boys, I think we've had a brilliant show this evening. I've really, really enjoyed it. ND, Jesse, Patrick, thank you very, very much for coming on. Everyone who's been in the chat, putting the comments in, we really appreciate your time coming on the show. You know, you make it what it is. If you could, put a like on, if you could subscribe to us, we'd really, really appreciate it. If you're not watching live and you come across the video, please get in touch. We're always looking to bring people on. We want to hear your thoughts, want to hear your opinions.
But listen, everyone.
Everyone. Anyone to come in.
Any club. I want
any club. All of us to be involved. There's no kind of hold bars here. This is an open forum. So listen, guys, we'll catch you on Friday, 9:30. Me and Jesse are going to be bringing a show for you. Hopefully you can join us there. We will catch you very, very soon. Patrick's channel, go over there, watch his stuff. It's fantastic. Really, really enjoy his stuff. Patrick, go on,
Carlton. I don't know how many. I looked at the subs this guy's had when the show started. Carlton, I expect you to sub Carl.
This is it. Yeah, it's practice now. We use intimidation at Talk Football. You expect it.
No, we've been nice.
I'm not gonna. We're not, Carl. We're not gonna intimidate you. We're just gonna tell you, be careful. I have Yaya Toure's number on speed dial. Just remember that.
Carl should get on one of the days. Carl, you should get on one of the days. Carl is the guy I do the show with. Yeah, Carl, guys, everybody, sub to this guy's channels. When I saw these guys, I was like, there's something different about these guys. They're more chilled, relaxed. It's not scripted. It's just straightforward, off the cuff. There's moments that the show goes elsewhere, but it's all football. That's why it's called Talk Football. So it makes sense. So that's it. Good lads. Good lads.
Appreciate it, Patrick. Thanks very much. But listen, everyone, thank you so much, and we will catch us all on Friday. Thanks very much, and take care. All the best, everyone. Bye-bye.